This is part 2 of the Refex presentation, Refreshable Excel workbook. And we're going to begin adding and putting together the Excel workbook. This is Excel 2010. This presentation is in 1600 by 900 resolution. Just quick refresher from part 1. Okay, I'm just going to start putting in a little bit of text here. Trial balance with customer terms, aging columns. All right. And then this is where our table is going to be inserted. I'll style this a little bit and change the font to something I like better, and bold, whatever, just styling. Then a second tab we're going to make for parameters. This tab, parameters, change the style of that, change that to here, to bold, and we'll put in the first one. This is the main one that we'll need, aging date. Make this a little bit wider, and here is where the parameter is going to go. I'm going to put in 229-2016 as a starting date. Nothing magical about that date, but it's the end of a month. And I'm going to style this too a little bit more. And make that bold, make the background yellow, and put a thick border around it. All right. This date is going to be very important for the whole process. I'm going to refer to that date here on this page. Just make a quick formula to point to this date so that we know what date we're talking about here. Don't mess with that one. It's just a reference. For right now, I'm not going to do any more here. This is the first of 32 parameters. We'll get to the rest of them here in a short time. But it's for this presentation, I'm going to bring the table in from the stored procedure, and then we'll make the parameter block, and we'll tie the two together, the table, the refreshable table, and the parameter block. Okay, how do we bring this in? We go to the data tab, and there is an option here for from other sources. Now there's, you can import data or link to data that's outside of Excel from multiple sources. It is a bit bewildering, but we're going to go step by step, and I'll show you from how to do it from Microsoft Query. This is really the only straightforward way to do it. You'll see as we get into it. Microsoft Query is kind of an ancient technology. It has been around for, boy, I suppose the greater part of this century so far. And here is the important point, probably for making this successful for you. We have to choose a data source. And this one, Dynamics GP, is one that was set up for our production database by our partner, and for our production data. But I'm going to use this one. I made this one specifically for this presentation. I'm not going to show you how to make it. Your IT people can do that. But this points to the TWO database on our server. TWO, the World Online, also known as Fabricam. Okay, I'm going to choose it. Oh, and I'm also going to uncheck this box. If you've got this checked, then unchecking it will save you a step. There's no harm in having that checked, but you'll see an extra dialog box that we will not see because this box is unchecked. So I'm going to click OK. And the next thing we see is a dialog box of all of the tables and views that are available on the TWO database. As I said, it is the tables and views. Account transactions is a view, for example, and this is a table. But we're not going to use any of that. We're using a stored procedure. Stored procedures are not listed here. This is only tables and views, so it's of no use to us. So I'm going to close it. Then we're going to be working directly in the Microsoft Query window. We'll see the grid of data appear here shortly. I'll make this as brief as I can, but it is not, 1, 2, 3, poof. It's 32 steps at least. So the first thing we do is we go directly to View SQL, that button. And that opens up a small dialog box which cannot be resized. It's using the old Microsoft Sans Serif font, and it's fairly hard to read. I apologize for that, but there's nothing I can do except, increase the screen size a little bit, and that'll make it easier to view. But there's a little bit of special notation here. I'm going to put in curly braces, left curly brace and right curly brace. And everything that we're going to do here falls within the curly braces. So I move my cursor in between, and I type in the word call. Now I am going to give it the name of the stored procedure that we created from that blog entry called TERM SEE. I still don't know what SEE stands for. RM for Receivables Management, HATB Historical Age Trial Balance, SRS, which is SQL Reporting Services, and wrapper for wrapper. And then a pair of parentheses, left and right parentheses. And, it's hard to tell what they are, but because of the font, but again, we can't do much about it. Now I need to put a placeholder for each of the parameters that are contained in this stored procedure. We're back here. There's the 32 of them in the Microsoft Query SQL statement window. We indicate those parameters by question marks separated by commas. So I'm going to do a little cut and paste. First I'm going to type 4 question marks separated by commas. And I'm going to copy that first 4 and make Control V for 8, 12, 16. Then I'm going to copy 16 of them and go to the end after the comma, type Control V. Now I've got 32. I don't need that final comma, so I'm backspacing over that. So that's our SQL statement. Looks weird, I know. There is no way to tell which of those parameters is which unless you are intimately familiar with their order in the stored procedure itself. That's why I've numbered them, to make it easier for us. And let's see if I can. Don't know as I can. I should have done this a little bit differently. I'm going to stop this, and back up here a little bit because I want to make sure that I can see what all of this is. I'm going to run this off the screen here a little bit. And move my... There we go. That'll work a little bit better. Okay, so I can see both the spreadsheet and the list of parameters. So I'm going to go through this again. And data, and I need my get external data from other sources. Isn't that nifty? How it compresses everything, and now it's got additional menu you have to click on because it's so much narrower. From Microsoft Query, this part is quick. I'm going to link to the Fabricam data source. And again, it brings up the list of tables and views, which we're not going to use. I'm just closing it. I'm going to scoot over here and show the Microsoft Query window again, so that I can get a view of the parameters from the query. And I click on the SQL button, which is View SQL. Okay, there's my SQL statement. Again, curly braces, call, and the name of the procedure, term, SEERM, HATB SRS, wrapper. A couple of parentheses, 4 question marks, copy that, 8, 12, 16, copy the 16, move to the end of the list, remove that final comma, and I'm back where I was. Okay? When I click the OK button, it gives me this message. You're just going to see that because it's not capable of pulling this kind of query together so that I can see it in a graphical form. That's fine. I don't care. Okay. Now, it's going to start with these guys. There's 32 of these. And we have to put in some parameter values just to make this work. Okay, the first is a date, the aging date. I put in February 29th on my parameter sheet, but I'm going to change that date to, let's say, for 1. Actually, if I do it that way, it's gonna choke. I want to do it this way. 0201. All right, put the dates in this way, and Microsoft Query will be happier rather than the dates and the slashes. I'm not going to show you what happens because then I'd have to go and start this whole thing over again. Actually, I might stop here because we're at 12 3/4 minutes. I'm going to stop here. We'll go to segment 3 in just a moment.